What is going on, guys? Jesse504 here, bringing you all new leak and a new mic. I don't know if you guys can tell, but hopefully that static that's been in the background of my past few videos is gonna go away. But enough about that. Yeah, we made it. We're in APA Academy, which is like their sort of APA Wi-Fi D League, except they don't really have a main league, but still. We got we got in, and it is low tier, which is really interesting. I don't think I've seen a Wi-Fi or Galardex low tier league yet, especially not an upload required one. So that'll be interesting, being able to like pioneer the format as a whole. I think it'll be really, really fun, really, really cool. And so with all that being said, we had 6th pick, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to get. A lot of I think my top 5 mons went in the top 5, so I was like, I don't really know what to get. Let's just grab a very comfort mon for me, a mon that I figured I could use pretty well, and that is none other than the Neuron. Neuron is very good. It's really strong with this dual stabs, even though it only has base 97 special attack, 110 base power Hurricanes, 130 base power Dracos, both really strong. Has access to U-turn as well, and good fire coverage for the steals, making Neuron pretty versatile. Additionally, Frisk ability helps me play well in Wi-Fi leagues when I get to see my opponent's item and know what it is. It makes it really easy to like play around things like potential berries, or even potential like sashes, knowing when those are, and also potentially just being able to constantly bring this in, bring this out, and no items is great. With the addition of heavy duty boots and then Roost and Defog, it can also serve a bit of a longevity role with the team, and it's very fast for low tier 123 base speed, so it'll be hitting great speed tiers, outspeeding all of most teams. So that's my Neuron pick. Also starts, there aren't really that many good dragons, so it starts my Fairy Dragon Steel Core. And up next, I really wanted to draft Rain, and then ultimately I decided, hey, this mon is there? This mon should not be there. Let's just go ahead and grab the Entei. Entei hits stupid hard with super spammable Sacred Fires, 50% burns is nothing. A lot of teams struggle switching into Scalds. Try switching into Sacred Fire, and it is actually quite difficult, especially if I throw on a boosting item like a Choice Band, or even running like a boot set, even like Boots Calm Mind sub with like Lava Plume is very cool. It has access to extreme speed for priority. It's got Stone Edge, it's got Stomping Tantrum, so it can hit various different mons. It just seemed like a really cool mon to try. I almost picked it round 1, decided it wasn't worth it for me. I didn't really want to take the risk on it for a mon that I haven't tried out. But hey, it came back round 2, so I was more than happy to try it out. Up next, there was one mon that I thought supported these two mons better than none other, and that was mainly because of its spike stack aspect, and that was none other than Roserade. Roserade having spikes and T-spikes seemed fantastic for the team, because Neuron and Entei force a lot of switches, and what punishes switches? Spikes and toxic spikes. Additionally, Entei is great for destroying steals that Roserade struggles with, and also that Neuron struggles with, but really it just seems very good also at taking out potential bulky waters for Entei, and even some for Neuron. And then the ice types that Neuron and Roserade struggle, Entei breaks. So I figured that this core seemed pretty solid together, and I didn't really think that there was another better mon to throw in. Maybe I could have done a different spike stacker like Klefki, but I hate Klefki, so I knew I was never going to touch it. So I thought Roserade was the best one for me. Up next, I decided that a steel type would be very important to the team. They were all kind of getting picked between like round 3 and 4. Figured I would lay my claim on one of the best steel types in the format, in my opinion, that I think is kind of a little bit underexplored, and that is Cavalier. Cavalier hits stupid hard, and it's got great Fizz-Def and Spit-Def. It runs AV pretty well, but it also can run other items very well. It's great in Trick Room, but I don't really have a good Trick Room mode on the team. And then only having one weakness is really nice when both Neuron and Entei resist. It makes it really easy to get Entei in, really easy to get Neuron in, and then start clicking buttons with those. And yeah, Scav just seems like a great option. Good resist to like psychic types as well, that don't get Mystical Fire, which is something to consider as well. But yeah, I think that also helping out that Fairy Dragon Steel Core is very nice, and I have plenty of fire pivots down the line. And up next was a mon that I didn't think was going to get back. I would have taken it round 4 if I saw it. I just assumed it was gone. Thank God I caught that it wasn't taken yet, round 5. And that is none other than the Seismitoad, Big Toad. As you can see, 15, 16, 12, 12, 14. We have spent a lot of points. Yeah, really hitting, we're really going to have to budget out for the remainder of this draft. But Seismitoad still hits dummy hard, can run physical or special, can run potential rain. There are no weather rocks. They are banned in low tier, which I think is understandable. But Seismitoad really can run manual rain fairly well. It can also run various different things. Bulky sets, mixed bulk, and I have good grass pivots. Roserade, Neuron, both quad resist, and Escav actually quad resists, and then Entei resists. So as you can see, grass types not an issue for the team at all. They kind of really struggle with the top 4 mons, to be honest. They might not come to a lot of games, but then you see the Seismitoad here. They have to check it. The same with fire types. They have to check the Escav. So it basically, these two mons together kind of really play off each other very well. And especially without hidden power, it's very, very good for a lot of these mons. Because not a lot of the electric types have coverage, and that would be like a potential issue. It's just like a strong electric with coverage, but there aren't really any electrics with coverage other than like Electivire. And then I can deal with an Electivire, trust me. But yeah, that is Seismitoad, and after this point I had sort of budget points a little bit better. And starting that, I decided to grab a sort of midpoint fairy type. There were a lot of them, but I decided that Togetic would be good for me. Good Cleric, and can check a lot of very strong mons. Like, especially, it is a great switch into those. Because of the Eviolite, it can really just take on hits very well. And it has good status with T-Wave and Toxic. It's got Heal Ball support for the team. It's got Wish Pass support, although only base 55 HP. The wishes aren't that good, but they're still wishes. And just being able to pass team recovery is very good for the team. And then Roost to keep itself healthy. And yeah, Togetic just seemed like a great option for me. Finishes off the core. We've drafted mono cores, I will say, thus far. And I think that's a little bit stereotypical, but I still think that it was a good way to go in low tier with how the mons synergize together. We did double up on flying types. Ice is a bit spammable against us just looking at the roster, but it's not that much of an issue. Up next, I decided to grab my premier fighting type. Fighting types run low tier, so you're able to get some very good ones cheap, especially Sawk. I figured Sawk was very good. Base 80 speed tier makes it a great Scarfer, and it also can hit hard. And it has sturdy counter potentially if there's really like a mon that I just can't deal with. Boot sturdy counter if it's a physical attacker, and there it goes. Additionally, can just click close combat a lot of weeks. It really just does well and hits hard. Basically, hits hard, good coverage, and does well. Yeah. Up next, decided to grab Electrobuzz, 3 points. Very, very cheap for what Electrobuzz was. And it's a nice, fast electric type bridging between Entei and Neuron. Actually has coverage, which is really nice. And it could kind of mess up my team, so I'm happy that I ended up with the Electrobuzz and not any of my opponents. Because it would actually be quite annoying for my team to deal with. I still think that even though it's a little bit weak, a nice, fast electric type is pretty nice in the format. And it can hold Eviolite, be a little bit bulkier. It can hold Life Orb, be a little bit stronger. So I figured Electrobuzz isn't actually that bad. Up next, I decided to grab Absol. I figured there weren't a lot of good dark types left. Why not just grab Absol? I could, and why not? It hits very hard, surprisingly. Base 70 speed is not good. I will say that much, which is why it's so cheap. But according to the great Shuckleking, very good battler, he said Absol was a bit underpriced, and it could get more kills than it's worth. So that is pretty good. It'll do a lot, I hope, if I can find the opportunities to bring it. It's kind of tough because bringing a lot of these lower point mons means that I don't bring a lot of my top mons. So that means that I kind of have a bad matchup if the top mons don't come. But if the lower tier mons come, then if the top tier mons come, then it means that the low tier mons can't come, which is a little bit sad. But I think I can make all of these mons work, and it'll be one happy family. Up next, good bulky psychic types are needed, so I grabbed not one, but 2 of them. They do different things, and so starting off, we got Lunatone. Lunatone, great bulky psychic, good coverage, can do rock polish, nasty plot stuff, can hold an assault vest, doesn't have recovery, that's its main drawback, but other than that, it gets rocks to potentially set those up. We don't have good rockers outside of like Toad, and I feel like having rocks on a team like this is very important when we're forcing switches. With the spike stack from Roserade, I feel like forcing the rocks up is pretty good. Lunatone can surprisingly chuck a lot of special mons with like an Assault Vest or something, so that's kind of why I decided on Lunatone. And last but not least, we got none other than the GOAT Dottler. I think Dottler is very good. It'll be able to potentially take a lot of hits. As long as they aren't super effective, it can take hits pretty well, FizzDef or SpDef. And then like switch and get up webs potentially, which could be annoying to deal with if you're slower than the Neuron, then the Specs and Neuron, your whole team. It'll get Draco down, which is pretty good. If you're slower than the Absol, it'll start hitting very hard. If you're slower than the Roserade, if you're slower than the Entei, all could be problematic. So I figured Dottler would be nice. Best Weber, in my opinion, that was left on the board. But yeah, this is my team for APA Academy Season 4. Low tier, which is really nice. And yeah, your Ann Arbor Accegors made it, boys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Leave a subscription if you are new. Only about 60% or only about 40% of my watch time comes from subscribers, so it would mean a lot to me if you subscribed. And then leave a like if you enjoyed. That also shows me that you guys will support this content, the APA draft, and hopefully I will be able to make more of it going forward. But with all that being said, until next time, Jesse504 out. Peace.